Hi guys, welcome back to Simply Oil Painting. Another little quick tutorial for you today. I'm in my studio here, but I'm going to probably move to the house again, to my kitchen, because there's still a lot of noise going on over in that garden. Fair racket altogether. So I'm going to show you what I was thinking about doing, just a quick tutorial for you. I'm going to paint a little street scene, just a little local area here in Blackpool. It's a lovely place, and I'm not happy with what I've done so far, so I'm going to show you how I would normally change a painting, change colours and things like that. So it's just a kind of a tutorial on that, and a bit of perspective as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. This is it. It's Blackpool Church in Blackpool in Cork City. And this is a lovely spot, beautiful church. Now I did this last night, I beg your pardon, I did this 2 days ago. I'm not happy with the painting. I'm going to change the sky, and I'm going to introduce some darker shadows on the buildings. Okay, so now the sky looks lovely, it's lovely as it is, but it's not the type of effect that I was hoping to achieve. Now when I go in, I will show you the actual photograph that I took, and you will see that there's a very kind of a bright bluish, there's almost kind of a greenish sky there, and the buildings are in really dark shadow. So I'm going to just change my sky and perhaps go over some of the building as well. So I just wanted to show you how I would normally change a painting, I suppose, and if I wasn't happy with it, this is what I would do. So now that's a lovely sky, but I'm just not 100% happy with this, so I think I might change it. So I'm going to paint over the sky, and I'm going to paint over some of the church as well. So that's it guys, I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to bring everything into the kitchen. I'm going to bring this in, I'm going to bring my little camera tripod, DIY kind of a thing. I'm going to bring that, and my box. So I will bring those into the kitchen, and we will do a bit of work in there. Just a quick tutorial, just to show you about creating kind of texture on buildings and creating some perspective in a building, and get some nice strong shadows perhaps. So something different this week, just a kind of a quick tutorial, nothing too serious, alright? A nice easy to follow tutorial, just on painting street scenes and that kind of thing. So come with me, and we'll go to the kitchen and we will start working on it. Okay? Don't go anywhere guys. Okay guys, here we are inside the kitchen, and I have this picture set up here with the palette so you can see what I'm painting this time, okay? That should make things a little bit easier for yourselves. As I was saying, I'm not happy with this sky, and I'm going to put the picture that I'm painting up on the screen for you now. And you can see it's a very, very light bluey kind of a luminous sky, isn't it? It was quite a dull day actually, and there was kind of a blue sky, but it was a very, very dull morning. It's been kind of cloudy on and off, and there was a break in the weather, so I just took these couple of snaps. This is Blackpool Church, as I said. It's a lovely, lovely church, and I kind of got this angle because it has some nice kind of perspective, some nice angles on the roofs. Now it's slightly different here. I've kind of made this slightly longer. I've kind of turned the building very, very only just slightly, just to give more of an angle, and I can put some windows in here, then you see later. But there's always a chance that we could change that back. We could always move this in a bit if we want. And I just want to get these buildings here just to show the perspective on the windows, and I want to create some nice dark shadows as well being cast off of the buildings and off of the church as well. So I'm going to start with the sky. Now the sky is very, as I said, very bright blue with just kind of some white mixed in with it. I'm not going to do some defining clouds in the sky. It's going to be very sort of, let's say a very messy sky, okay? Just a very, very messy sky, nothing kind of in particular in certain spots. It's just a little bit of white flicking through here and there. So I'm going to go for this brush, and I'm going to mix some very, very bright kind of a blue, and for that I'm going to use phthalo blue. And phthalo blue is a very rich, luminous kind of a greeny blue, and it's perfect for skies like this. So without further ado, I'm just going to put some turpentine into my jar here. And I'm not going to use linseed oil in this now, because there's no need to use linseed oil. I would only use linseed oil for kind of detailed work most of the time, if I'm doing like waves and if I'm doing detailed work. If the canvas is pretty dry, I use linseed oil. But I've just well primed, and it's a nice smooth kind of a grain, so I don't need it. Now I'm mixing phthalo blue, just a tiny bit of phthalo blue, because you can see now how strong that colour is. It's a very luminous kind of a blue. So I'm going to put some titanium white into that, plenty of it, and I want to make a very bright blue sky. And it's strange that there's a very blue sky in this, given the fact that it's a very dull day and everything else is sort of in shadow, very dull in shadow. Maybe it's the camera quality, I'm not too sure, but that's how it felt on the day. It was a very kind of a dull morning. And I was messing around with the exposure on the camera and stuff like that, and I just could not get a very bright, clear picture. So I think it was just one of those days. It was a very dull day. Now, I'm going to start brightening this towards the end, okay? Look, I just want to put some white in there, and I just picked up some white. I didn't mix it to anything, I'm just putting it directly onto the canvas, and I already have blue on my brush, so that's helping. And let's just go down very quickly over our sky. So I wasn't happy with that sky I just did earlier, guys. It was, I just not, how would I put it, I just don't want that type of a feeling in the painting this time. I want to do kind of quite a cold painting, you could say. Very cold colour, very cool colours rather. I don't want to be going for warm colours. Even this church is a bit too warm for me. I'm just not happy. So I said, while I'm doing this, I might as well do a tutorial and show you how I do it and show you my setup and things like that. Once again, thank you all for sharing my videos and subscribing. And we have new videos every week, pretty much every week. There's going to be a new tutorial. Some will be long, some will be short, but I'll try my best to get one every week for you guys if I can. Now I'm going to put into this some white, and I'm giving my brush a really good clean now, just to get this blue out, most of it rather, and I'm going to soften that with a soft blender just very quickly. Just quickly. Now there's some colour from underneath showing through, that's fine. That would probably help even. And I'm going to go into some white. Thick white on the top of your brush, plenty of white, you see? And here and there, let's just do like a couple of flicks. So it's a very loose sky. I'm not worried now about painting shapes of clouds or anything like that. I'm just suggesting white cloud flicking around here and there in the sky. I'm really not even thinking too much about anything on this. I'm just going right into it. You see? And I'm giving my brush a wipe on the tissue every time I do this to take the blue off of the brush. Because every time you do this, you're going to pick up some blue, you see? And you want to keep it nice and crisp. So I'm just rubbing my brush each time. And let's put some white, and you can even dab, look, you can even dab if you like. So a nice simple sky. I might define some a bit more down here, because there's one or two kind of down there which have more definite shape. So I might just define some of those. And what I'm going to do now is just go over this with the soft brush. And let me just give it a quick clean here. And of course we can come back to this again at a later stage. Now just let me put some white in on this side of the church. There we go. And I'm going to soften this now very gently. And with this you can sort of almost create the direction of your cloud. You see? And it's nice and soft then. So you see now how that turned out. Nice, bright sky. I would probably even go back into that with more white again. And possibly even using a small brush. Now down on the left hand side I might make that slightly duller because it's still a little on the bright side for me just there. So I might just do that. I'll take some white and I might take a touch, just a touch of black, only a touch, and a touch of magenta. So again, that's giving us a kind of a warm pinky, almost a pinky kind of a grey. Let's just push that in there. Let's try another bit of black. So I'm kind of trying it as I go. If it's a bit too light, you can darken it, and vice versa. But I want to keep this very, very subtle now, guys. Very, very subtle. I'm not going in there with lots of strong colour. Okay? I could suggest one or two shadows up here on the cloud. And the nice thing about oils is that the colours will mix on the canvas as well. So it gives more natural shades to the colour when you're mixing on the canvas. I'm just going to soften some of these. And it's very, very quick sky. I don't want to go into too much detail with this. I don't want to make it too complicated. As I said, I just wanted to dull it down very, very slightly on this side. And what I'm going to do next is I might take another smaller brush. This small little brush, now it's very, very worn, see it? And the bristles are all kind of splayed out. I don't know if you can see that or not now, but it's a very rough brush, well worn, and it's perfect now for what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take some white and just highlight some of the clouds just here and there, see? And just define one. Now you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You really don't have to. You can just leave it as it was. But I'm just going to perhaps suggest one or two highlights just here or there. I think it might help. And let's just put a couple off in the distance here. Like so. And I'm more or less just moving the brush around, flicking it around in different directions. That's all I am doing with the brush. Just give it a nice, bright, soft feel. I'll probably go back over some later and just brighten some of the clouds later. And you know, we'll see how the painting progresses. We can always lighten these later on, come back and put more white into the sky. But that's kind of generally the type of sky that I was trying to get. Nice, simple, bright sky. There we go. Now, and as they say, try not to doodle too much because you can ruin it, you can spoil the sky. I'll come back and I might change some of it later. I'll see. So let's leave that, and I'm going to go on to my church. And I'm going to move on to my church now. I want to change the colour. This is just too rich for me, for my liking. It's too rich. So I'm going to take some Naples yellow, some white, and I'm going to take a hint of burnt umber. Now if you go into the black, it'll only go green, okay guys? So stay away from black. If we're mixing Naples yellow with black, we're going to end up with a kind of a green, a very pale green. and that's not what you want. So I'm taking plenty of white into this now, and I'm making a very kind of a pale fawn, kind of a colour. Now when you're up close, the building is kind of quite a rich, almost a rich creamy yellow colour, but because in the photograph it's quite dull, it's a very dull day, that colour is not showing through properly. But it is actually a very kind of a rich, yellowy fawn kind of a colour on the church. It's a lovely colour actually. It really brightens the place up. Now, I'm just going down the edges here, and we have another section here. So I'm starting off here now with a kind of a slightly lighter value, and I'm going to darken it then as I need to, with shadows and all kinds of things. So I'm just putting this in now loosely. I'm not being too particular about this at all. There we go, that side. I'm going to paint over the shadow as well now, guys, because we can go back over this with a darker value in a minute. And you'll notice I'm using quite dry brushes at the moment. I'm not making it too wet, if that makes sense. It's just kind of more, almost just paint really, which is on the brush. There we are. And I'm going to take a smaller brush, and just for this shadow side I'm going to put a bit of shadow on this. And let me see now, we could even make that a little bit duller if you wish. Let's take a touch of black, and let's take a touch of magenta, and because there's a little bit of pink in this now, it's not going to go green very much. You see, it's kind of a dark pinkish grey. So that neutralizes the black then, you see, and stops it from going green with the yellow. And that's not bad there now. It just sort of dulls the colour just a little bit to give it a more natural kind of a feeling. And we can go back over this again later with highlights and all sorts of things. Now, that's there, and we need to do the same on this section here. And this building here actually is, there's actually a big sign you can see there, Moriarty's Barbers, and fantastic barbers. It's a really kind of a traditional Cork kind of a barber shop. If we're ever coming to Cork and you really want to get a decent Cork haircut, go into Moriarty's Barbers here down in Blackpool, and people actually know him by the name of the Baldy Barber. That's his proper name, the Baldy Barber. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that, but that's what he's known as. And I think you can guess the reasons why. I won't tell you, but you can guess. And they give a fantastic haircut in here, guys. If we're ever in Cork, you have to pop in here and get a haircut, because just a fantastic bunch of people. And it's a really proper kind of an old-fashioned Cork barbers, you know. Just simple chat with the locals. Just have a chat about what your day is like, and they give a really, really nice haircut in there, I have to say. Now, I'm just pulling this down. There we go. So I just mix a little bit of burnt umber with a touch of black and a touch of that pink, and that gives a nice shadow there now, doesn't it? And I think I might use that colour now for this shadow as well. Wouldn't that be a good idea? So I'll take a smaller flat brush, just a nice clean flat brush for that colour, okay? And let's take a touch of black, a touch of burnt umber, and a touch of that pink, and into that let's put some white. So you can see I'm kind of keeping these colours quite cool, I think, for the minute. we can make them warmer later if we like. And I'm just introducing little bits at a time, just little bits. I'm not making huge differences with the colours. And this is a more kind of a neutral grey I'm using now. It's a nice kind of a cool grey. And this does take a bit of practice, guys. Getting all these colours right. It does take a little practice, because you can see here that I'm mixing all this now and I'm picking up some blue as I go, you see? And this blue then is going in and it's making it even cooler. So we have lots of lovely different shades going on, you see? And that's what I love about painting, because it changes as you go. Sometimes it's not intentional. You could have a happy accident every now and again, and it could work out fantastic. Okay. So don't be afraid to take a chance with it. Now I'm just putting some of that cooler colour down here, and I might take some of that blue, and I might complement the sky by putting a hint of that colour just here and there on the shadows. Alright? You see that? And it's almost like the colour of the sky reflecting down on the side of the building. So I think now this colour scheme is much nicer than the one that I had. It's kind of slightly different. It's nice to work with cool colours as well every now and again. I tend to use warm colours a lot when I'm painting, and you know, sometimes it's nice to say, look, let's just use some cool colours for a change things up a little bit. There we go. Now that's a bit better, I think. Next now we're going to do the roof. I'm keeping this nice and simple, okay? Nice simple colours. I'm going to do the roof next, and I am going to use, I'll start off with this little brush here. Beg your pardon, excuse me. I'll start off with this little brush and take some black and some Taylor blue, and I'm just going to fill that in there. It's a very dark, greeny kind of a grey. And go right up in there, and it cuts into this slightly, doesn't it? And again, I'm picking up some of the colour from the sky, and that's fine, that's what I want. That kind of really helps the composition, I find. I love when my painting picks up colours, different colours from here and there. It really helps the composition. And I'm going to do the same here. And you could even let some of the black show through. Now, if you don't have, obviously you won't have this black on your canvas, but if you are going over something like this, you don't have to completely cover it. You can leave the colour underneath show through as well. And that would look quite nice. So I'm taking some black now and some burnt umber, and I'm just going to darken this here. Just slightly. Because you see, this kind of a spire here is casting a shadow on the roof as well, isn't it? Now I'm presuming that the light is coming from the right hand side. Hence, I have a shadow on the left. So if the light is coming from the left, it's going to be, or from the right, it's going to be casting a shadow here, isn't it? So I'm going to put some burnt umber in here, a little bit of black. And that just brings everything to life, doesn't it? It really adds a bit of life to the painting. And you can put a bit here as well. And soften that in then. And it's coming on quite nice, isn't it? So this is the type of feeling I was trying to get at the beginning. I think I was more experimenting than anything else when I was doing the first one. I was just kind of trying colours. And I do that a lot as well with paintings. I try something, if I don't like it, I just paint over it then. let's just put that here. These are all just suggestions. I will go right into some detail with these now very soon. In fact, I might do some detail for you now. I'm going to put in the top of that. I'm going to take some burnt umber, maybe with a touch of black, and I'm going to go up here now very carefully and come right across. There we go, and down here, very sharp angle then. There we are. And there's two lines up there, isn't there? And now I'm going to straighten this line. It's a little bit falling to the left. And another one underneath. Like so. And the top then, the canopy of this, the little roof is kind of a green. I'm going to take some Taylor blue with some Naples yellow, and that should give us a nice earthy kind of a green, a pale green. And let's just suggest a little roof on this. Okay, just like that. Nice and simple. And if you really want to go into some detail with this, you could take some white and put a little highlight here. And we have a little cross then, just on top of that. I'm going to use darker colour, just to make it stand out a bit more in the background. We have a little cross. Like so. And we go with that. That's not bad. And there we are. Nice little bit of detail there for you guys. So I'm going to leave all these details until later. I just want to let the paint sit on the canvas for a while. I don't want to go right on top of it, okay? So I'm going to, let me see now. Perhaps we'll just finish this area here, little buildings, nice simple buildings, and then we'll maybe put in the base colour for all of these. Yes? Sounds good? Okay, now they're very, very similar in colour again. You don't have to be spot on with these. Well, I'm not going to be spot on with these because they can change colours from month to month. People paint them different colours or whatever. So I'm just going to suggest these off in the distance here. That's there, and let's add a touch of blue perhaps to the one in the background here. So you can see now I'm being just very, very loose. I'm not worrying too much about details. Now let's put a roof across here. And let's take a bit of white and put that back in here. You see, it's just very, very impressionistic. And I'll suggest a couple of windows. I'll put in some dark frames. So a bit of black and a bit of brown again. And let's just put in one or two suggestions of windows off in the distance. And a little door. These are all details you can work on at a later stage as well. Let's suggest little things on the roof, a little aerial, we'll say, an antenna, and let's suggest a little window on this one. And let's take some white, a little blue on it. So you can see now how I'm just being very loose for all of this. I'll come back when I'm finished and do all the little details. I'm going to take a little white here, suggest a window on the roof, and then I'm just going to sharpen this edge here. Now actually, there's a bit of yellow coming up there, isn't there, from that church. I'm going to put that in. So I'm just going to clean a brush, a small brush, and I'm going to put some more white on my palette. I take some Naples yellow with some white. And I'm going to put in that. So it comes up there, it actually cuts through this, doesn't it? There we go, and there we go. Clean the brush, and go back in again. It's quite thick, isn't it? And I want to try and match this colour here now, so I'm just putting more Naples yellow into this, and it's actually mixing with the colour underneath. What I should have done was just scraped it off with a knife or something. But you know yourself, you try to keep going at it until you get it right. Sometimes it's best left well alone, isn't it? And I'm going to define the roof on that as well. I suggest a little side on it. And then again, a little roof. So this is just a little detail I'm doing now just for you guys. Okay. There. And that's all right. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just put in loosely the roadway here. And I'm just going to be very, very loose with this as well. So I'm going to take some white. Now there's loads of cars and stuff in the picture there. I will maybe put in one or two, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm kind of focusing more on the street walking up to the church. So I'm not going to go crazy with this, guys. I'm keeping it very, very, very simple. So plenty of paint. And it kind of turns around here, but it's a little area here for parking. And then it swoops right across in front of the church. Now there's all steps and stuff like that there, we'll get to those in a minute. But I'm just filling in here now. This is just kind of a base coat. Blocking in, we'll say. Just blocking in. Nice, simple shapes. Even a bit of blue. Let's get a bit of blue in here. As I said at the beginning, I just want to keep this sort of cool. A nice kind of a cool scene. I don't want to go too warm with these colours. So I hope you can follow. And I hope it's all making sense to you at home. The footpath goes off up there. Okay. I'll take some magenta and a touch of blue, and I'll put a nice, almost like a pinky purple in just here. And now we're getting really nice cool colours, aren't we? And this is the effect that I was trying to achieve in the beginning. But you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want it to, does it? And let's take a bit of black, a bit of brown, put a little bit of that in here. And soften it up. I will hit some nice highlights on this now as well later, okay? I'm not going to leave it like this. Take some black and some blue, and let's go in here with some real dark colour, because these buildings are kind of casting a very strong shadow on the roadway here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to push this back a little for you. Is that better? And I'm going to put a bit of a shadow just up on the left hand side of the church as well. So a little bit of phthalo blue, some magenta, a touch of black, and a little bit just here and there. See? And you can soften that with your soft brush as well, guys, if you like. And I will do that, I think. I want it all to almost soften off into the distance. Okay. There we go. Nice soft colour. How's that looking, guys? Are we getting there? I think we are. We're getting there slowly. Let me see. Let's have a look at the photograph now and see what could we do next. We could, I suppose, put in some doors. Yeah, we could do that. We'll do that. Let's take some brown. And I know from experience that these doors are kind of a very dark, rich red. But on the photographs, they just look black because it was a very dull day. So I'm just going to take some burnt umber for now. And let's put these in with some burnt umber. So we have one in the center. And this tutorial really, I suppose, is just to show you about creating soft, cool colours. That's kind of all I'm trying to show you, really. And copying a photograph, getting the general colours, kind of something similar. And we have a door here. And we have another one on the other side. Over here. And I don't know if you can hear that noise outside, but they are really going for it with that Kango hammer out there. They have a machine out there with a big spike on it, and they are just going for it. But I don't mind. Okay, that's those done. Let's take a pointy brush and let's get some grey around those. So some nice light grey. So some white, a little phthalo blue, a touch of burnt umber, and let's see what result that gives us. Again, a cool grey. You see? I'm using plenty of thick paint for this. And this is a lovely spot in Blackpool. It's this is the centre, really. It's just a village. Blackpool is a small village, and it has been let go in recent years, unfortunately. It could do with a boost. It's almost been forgotten about after the boom, but it's a lovely spot. Okay, a bit here. Straighten this, and we'll come in here, that. And we have a little arch over the main door, so let's put that in. There we go. And everything I'm doing here now is very suggestive. It's just, I'm keeping it very, 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 very simple. Now I'm going to take a bit of that dark colour and I'm just going to go around the curve on that, just inside. And you can hear my dog is going crazy. outside. She's barking away, at what I don't know, but she's barking away at something. Now, I'll put a little bit around the edges of these. And that will just separate them from the wall, just very, very slightly. These are just small details now, but they do make a difference, I think, at the end of the painting. Okay, and let's put a couple of little dabs along here to suggest the little brickwork on the surround. A couple of dabs in the middle. And I will probably make this slightly bigger. Now, that's actually a separate area around that. As you can see, it's an extra area that sticks out from the main building. So I'm going to do that. Let's go up to about here. Cut across. Like so. Let's take a bit more white. Let's separate that from the one on the right hand side there. And let's put a little slightly darker shadow on the side of that. You see? And that will separate it then from the piece above it. Does that make sense? And then we're going to put that very dark eave just along the top of that. So right across here, like so. And if you notice now as well in the painting, there's lots of telegraph poles and lamps and stuff like that. We don't have to put all of that in. I will put one or two of them in, but I'm not going to just cover the whole painting with poles everywhere. I'm just going to use my license for that. Artistic license, that is. There we are. And I'm going to suggest two little lights on either side of that. Like so. So you can see it is kind of coming together now, guys, slowly, bit by bit. Okay, I just skipped ahead here and I put in these bollards, couple of bollards, and I put some light on the roadway here, just to show the sunlight hitting the road. And I put in some pink, a little bit of pink, just to nice contrast against the church, and I'm starting these buildings here. So I'm going to take this brush and let me see, there's a kind of a pink building just here. So I'm going to do that. So let's pick up some, let's make some nice colour for that. Let me see, magenta. So we'll take some magenta. No, some magenta, a little bit of cadmium red. It's very rich, it's like a ruby kind of a red, isn't it? So, and a little touch of phthalo blue, and then into that maybe a touch of Naples yellow. Let's try that. Perhaps a bit of brown. Warm it slightly, and let's try this here now. That's not far off. So just very loosely put in the outline of the building, and I'm going to leave the sign as it is. And just come down as far as this. There you go. Now, and let's make that a bit darker just on the side closer to us here. I'll put in a bit of black, and let's take a touch more magenta Let's just darken it slightly as it comes towards us. And we can change these now as we need to go. As we go. Okay. Nice sharp lines now on the top. Right, let me see. Yeah, it's slightly warmer now at the end. So let's take some cadmium red and a touch of cadmium yellow, perhaps. And let's try some of this down at the bottom because it seems slightly warmer. And my tablet is not great, so I can't see very well. So I'm kind of improvising. There we go. And there's just a big window here, isn't there? So let's put that in. I'm going to leave this sign. And let me see now, let's make it a bit darker as it comes to us. So a bit of burnt umber and some magenta. Let's make it a bit richer just here. And I'm keeping these cool. I'm not putting very warm colours on this to complement the rest of the painting. And let's see what else we have. So a little bit of brown. Just like this. So just filling in all these outlines. And take a bit of blue, magenta, and just give that a nice bit of blue there, nice little shadow. Now I am going to put the sign here. It's like a Naples yellow with a touch of that pinky colour. And I want to keep these nice. I don't want to have too much contrast, so nice soft colours again. And let's see now. Windows, we put this window in here. So let's take some phthalo blue and let's take some lamp black and some white. And let's just put this window in here very roughly. There we go. Then take some phthalo blue with white. And let's just go along the top, flick that down. Just to give the effect of the glass. And maybe some white as well. Now, soften that. And the window frames with just some white and a bit of blue. There we go. And then take some brown and go around the inside of the frame. And let's just suggest some little things in the window here. As you're looking through the window, you can see bits and bobs, can't you? And let's put something, a little bit of red. Let's take some yellow. A bit of yellow, just suggest some sort of ornaments on the windows and things. Okay, and you can put one or two little things there. And then take some brown and put some brown in here as well. And then for the window reveal, I'm going to come along here with some brown with a touch of red and put that in, so you can see how it's sort of turning to the side. And let's put a little touch of Naples yellow here just to separate that one. Now, over that we have a white striped sign, so let's put that in. Maybe some white and a touch of blue, and let's just put that in here. And some blue and red stripes. So, cadmium red. And let's put some cadmium red stripes just in there. And if it's mixing with the white, that's okay. Don't worry about that. And then some phthalo blue. Like so. And let's take some white then and just go along, sharpen that underneath. So I'm just being very loose now with this, very loose. These are just all the little details that I'm putting in. And a little outline on this side. And we can do some of this with a knife as well later if we wish. And the doorway is kind of hidden around the side of the building here. So let's just suggest a little doorway around the side. Just like this, you see? Just soften all these into the roadway here and I'll make it nice and soft. Alright? Isn't that better? And I'm just going to highlight just little areas, just here and there. And for the windows now guys, for those windows, I'm just going to take some white and blue and put a little flick here and there, see? And we can then soften those with the brush. Now you don't have to soften them if you don't want to, but I will just a little. And it's almost giving the reflection on the glass. Now this is all just very impressionistic at the moment. I will start putting some details in on this building perhaps. So let's suggest some doorways and windows, that type of thing. And because the building is turned, everything is basically just a line. So I'm only suggesting these now very loosely. Okay, just very, very loosely. They're only little kind of marks with the brush more so than anything else. That's all. Okay, very, very impressionistic. And let's put a couple of little lights, that type of thing. And a couple of, let's suggest a few windows up overhead. And it's just generally going along like this and just suggesting little bits and pieces. They don't have to be anything in particular. It's just telling the viewer that there's something there. Okay? That makes sense, you guys. But it's very, very loose. And we could even suggest some signage, you see? Just suggest some writing, things like that. They're only marks with the brush, that's all they are. You see. Now I'm going to get some more blue because I'm running out of blue. This lovely rich blue. I hope you're following me along with this. Okay. Now we have some writing on this sign here. And I think it says Mick Moriarty. So let's try it. Okay, let's just try it. Now it's very at an angle, so it's going to be very, very thin lines and very close together. Alright. You see? Very, very closely together. Just getting a fine tip on your brush. And then an A here, and then it gets lost. So there we are. It's just a lovely loose suggestion of that. And I'm going to take some Naples yellow and a little red and just go along the top of this, highlight the outside of that. So you can see how this is coming on. Now we have a little kind of a feature here, a little ornamental feature. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to start with some white. Let's take a little blue into that. Okay, a little touch of blue, touch of magenta. I'm going to put this in. So it's coming up over here, isn't it? And you can see how everything is mixing on the canvas, and that's good. That's what we want. And then we have a silver, which I'm going to use just white, a touch of that blue perhaps. Silver cap. And we have a little one underneath. And let's put some shadow on that. So a little curve there, little curve there. And we have some red and blue going through that then. So let's take some nice blue and put some blue here. that. And let's put a piece on top. And then we have a red one. Let's take some cadmium red. There we are. And it's a little darker now just on the inside, so I'm going to darken it slightly. Just on the inside here. That's it. And we can highlight all of these again later. So for example, if I take some yellow, cadmium yellow with some white, just to show you, and just go around the top of that, along the front of that here, you see? And let's just put a suggestion of a bracket in there. Nice and simple. Now over the doorway here there's a little kind of a point in there, so let's suggest that point. That's all you need to do. Very, very simple. So, windows. Let's move on to some windows. Actually, there is a little box. I do apologize now. There's a little box just here, isn't there? Let's just put that in very loosely. Now, windows. I'm going to take this brush. Okay, and let's put in some windows. I'm going to put in, now there's a very bright surround on those windows. In fact, you can hardly even make out the windows inside. So I'm going to start with some black, lamp black, some white, and I'm going to go up there and put the window reveals in first. Now take a little bit of brown as well, and I'm going to start with the window reveals. So we have one there, one here, and bring them down like this, and do the same underneath. And this one is hidden with that, okay, so don't worry about that. The sign is covering it. I'm going to take some Naples yellow and white, and I'm just going to lighten these, just ever so lightly. And let's just straighten the angle here. And I'm going to put in some windows now, some glass. So let's take some phthalo blue, a touch of cadmium red, and some white. And let's just put that in, and that will suggest the glass on the windows. And remember now, this is just an impression, very, very loose impression. You see? I'm just keeping it simple, that's all. Keeping everything nice and simple, nice and loose. And then I'm going to take some of that light colour again and suggest a few window frames, just one or two. There we go, and one here. And let's put one here. Now I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to take some dark colour, so some black with a touch of brown, and I'm going to just go in under those window frames and let's just give them a little shadow. Yes, you see, just a little. And it's just a very loose tutorial just to show you how you can make something simple, keep a scene nice and simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Don't try and get too much detail into these. And let's put a little bit here, just darken these ones slightly. Now, next we have some white surrounding those, don't we? Some very, very bright, almost a pinky colour, if I'm correct. I'm going to take some cadmium red with some white and a little bit of Naples yellow, and that'll give us a nice bright colour. And let's go around these now. So we have one between the windows as well. So we have one here, and it goes up over the tops of the windows, doesn't it? And around the surrounds. So it's coming together now slowly, isn't it? Nice and simple, and I'm thinking, every time I do this, I'm thinking to myself, just keep it simple, keep it simple. Nice, simple, clean lines. Let's go a little one here. And we have all sorts of things just here over this side, don't we? Little wires and lines and all sorts of little bits and pieces, as we say. Let's try a bit of black. Let's get some little hints of lights and stuff, all types of things coming in here. And these lines must be a little sharper here, I think. So I'm going to make them just a little sharper. And then I'm going to take some phthalo blue with some white. Okay. And I'm just going to go along on top of these windowsills here to make them lovely and bright. So we are kind of getting there slowly. This is something that you can kind of work on as you go along. You see, you can develop this as you go. I'm just going to take some Naples yellow and some red and just warm up just this window here just a little bit. In fact, I might just take some pink even, so some white and some red, and we could even highlight that around here with some pink. Okay, and let's take a bit of red, introduce some red in here, just warm this very, very slightly. So it is coming together slowly, bit by bit. There we are. So that's not too bad now at the moment. We're getting there, slowly. Slowly but surely, as they say. Isn't that right? Now let's just put some dark up on top of this for that roof coming around. Okay, some burnt umber. And let's take a bit of black. There we are. So guys, all we have to do is the sign. Okay, the sign. Let's do this sign and get this done. And then we can perhaps do some more work with the knife. Yes? We can sort out some of our angles because some of the angles are just slightly off. Look, I'll show you one. This line here is not what I was hoping for. So let's make it a bit steeper, yeah? Go down like this. And we can fix then what's up over this as well. Let's take a little bit of the red. So you see, everything can be fixed. We can go over all of this, you see, and move things around. Okay, this sign is just basically, I'm going to take some Naples yellow with a touch of cadmium red, and I'm going to put that in. Let's have a look at that now. That's not bad, is it? We'll go with that for now. And of course it's going to mix with some colour underneath, so that's because it's wet into wet. You can leave it dry if you like. That might make things a little easier for you. But I kind of like the way it picks up colours just a little. So that's why I like painting wet into wet most of the time. There we go. Perhaps a bit more Naples yellow just here. And let's take a bit of brown even. And darken it just at the bottom. Just make the sign look like it's kind of worn. It's kind of worn off over the years. Right? And then we have some writing, don't we? Some very small writing. And it's like a kind of a plum colour again. So I'm going to take some magenta and some burnt umber and perhaps a touch of cadmium red, just to warm it slightly. Get a nice point on your brush, and this is where we have to be careful. With the scissors in the middle. There we go, and we have handle of the scissors. And it's just basically filling in just very, very loosely what you see, and I'm just trying to get it as near as I can, I suppose. And we have a couple of lines down here like this. There we go. And let's put a big circle down the end. And a circle on top. I'm just keeping this simple. And we have a couple of kind of squiggly lines like this. And the name, Moriarty. And let's say M-O-R I-A-R-T Y. And let's put a hint of an S there. You see, it's just simple. And underneath that we have barbers, don't we? Again. And some black for around the edge.